Shwmai, heddr ydw i. Mae bron amser Dewithon eto. Chi'n barod? Iawn. No, ti'n iawn, diolch. Dwi fy sgiliau Gymraeg ddim wedi gwella o gwbl ers y llynedd. Diolch. Diolch am ofyn. God, mae'n bwyth yma, hynny. Dych chi'n teimlo fel mae'n bwyth? I'm going to do us all a favor and just switch to English from here on out. Mainly because I was dead serious when I said that my Welsh language skills have not improved in a whole ass year. And I think the reason for that might have something to do with paying my child to do my Welsh language homework, because she'll do anything for £1. But it's unimportant at the minute. It's unimportant. What's important is Dewithon is upon us. It's 2 weeks away. It's for the whole of March. If you don't know what Dewithon is, let me tell you now. Dewithon is a month-long readathon to do with Wales, celebrating Welsh authors, Welsh settings, Welsh poets, Welsh publishers, sort of books set in Wales, books written by people who live in Wales or are from Wales, or books that were published in Wales, or whatever, anything sort of loosely connected to Wales, I reckon. I think it was started by a person named Paula Bardell-Headley. At least she's sort of where I got the original idea. She doesn't do YouTube, she does blogging, like sort of writing. But she sort of welcomes, I guess, all the holes of the internet that wants to participate. Hashtag Dewithon. A couple of other people on YouTube do Dewithon as well. Like Kieran at KD Books, he's got some things up his sleeve for Dewithon. Shan at Past Story Time, she does Dewithon. Also Sophie at Redhead Reading does Dewithon sometimes. And I do Dewithon every year, and I fucking love it. I know Ireland Readathon is also in March, and that's fine. I'm not here to bag on that, okay? St. Patrick's Day and St. David's Day, both in March. That's fine. They can share. They're friends. However, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Does Ireland really need help spreading its cultural seed? Okay? Like, my ancestry's Irish, okay? And we have spread our seed, friends, okay? I'm deeply proud to be Irish, but I think that we can agree nobody needs help knowing about Ireland. Everyone knows about Ireland. Irish authors, Irish poets, you know, loads of people can name loads of them. But Welsh literary genius is hugely ignored by the world. It's gorgeous, it's dark, it's deep, and no one has any idea what the fuck it is. And I think we should explore that. We should work together, friends, to investigate Welsh literature. Okay, now that we've established that we're all doing Dewithon, I feel like we should have a light chat about my TBR for Dewithon. I'm also going to link below a bunch of my other Dewithon TBRs from past years. So if you're thinking, I would like to participate in Dewithon, but I don't know what books to start with or where even to start looking for books that are Welsh, I will have those links down below. You can check them out. I'll also link a couple other people's TBRs from years past, because they also have some good stuff in them. First one is Drift by Caryl Lewis. This one, roughly, is about a rural Welsh woman in sort of rural Wales, and a Syrian map maker who is a refugee and is staying at, I think, some sort of military refugee installation or something in rural Wales. There's some sort of storm, and it brings them together first of all, and then they fall in love, and you've got the romance element. I've heard it's gorgeous. I've heard it's really good, and not just from people in Wales, like not just because the author's Welsh and I'm in Wales, but sort of internationally. Next one, Fannie by Rebecca F. John. This one's cute. Look, a city bitty, it's so tiny and beautiful. You could just get stuck in. This one is a feminist retelling, I believe, of Fantine's story in Les Mis. I know loads of people who, hearing what I just said, would immediately go and buy this book just because they're sort of Les Mis super fans. I'm not, but I don't mind it. I'm excited about it anyway. So Fannie, she works in a factory. It's like France 1815-ish. She has a daughter and a gentleman, but due to like her being a single mother and it coming out. She loses her job and then she's got to sort of go through desperate acts to sort of feed her daughter and such. A story of desperation, but also of love and the soaring power of hope. I'm excited. Next one, The Word by J.L. George. This one, on the cover, says, has the vibe of a cult late 70s British sci-fi TV show. Okay, which is why I bought the book. I won't lie to you. I don't care what's on the back here or what's in the book. As long as it serves this vibe, it's going to be a banging time and I'm going to enjoy it. But basically, it's like in the future and it's all these kids and they have like this superpower called the Word where they can sort of speak words and compel people to obey them. So they live in this place called the Center, which is just serving straight Stranger Things vibes. It's like, they do tests on their power there and they like push them to limits of their power and stuff like that. But when they realize that they're being turned into like these masked like weapons, you know, these like weapons of war, they escape basically and try to make it on their own. And it goes from there. Sounds brilliant. Next one, We Don't Know What We're Doing by Thomas Morris. This one is short stories, a collection of short stories. And I think generally the premise is all of the people in it have no idea what's going on. They don't know what they're doing. It's just a bunch of sort of quirky sort of stories. One of them, I think I heard, was these kids end up in a mine with a Japanese tourist, like lonely and bemused. These 10 stories feature people who, like all of us, know where they are, but don't know what they're doing. Brilliant. Next one is The Color of a Dog Running Away by Richard Gwyn. Richard Gwyn wrote another book called The Blue Tent that I read last year, and I loved that book. Loved the fuck out of it. It was one of my favourite books of the year. So it caused me to chase down other books that he has written. However, all the other books that he's written sound a bit weird and like they wouldn't be very good. Like he's sort of only written the one good one. I don't know. Anyway, I have no idea what this one's about. And even reading the back, I still have no idea what it's about. Mainly because I think it might be as cryptic as The Blue Tent was. A bit sort of wild and wacky and confusing. But I'm for it. I'm for it. He, Richard Gwyn, is actually a professor at the university I work at. So, like, I could potentially meet him one day. You know, if I was to, you know, look him up and lightly stalk him by standing outside of his office door with a boombox. You know? Okay, next one is Gruff Rhys's American Interior. I got this from the library. I put it on hold because my friend Caryl said it was banging and she wants me to read it. It sounds a bit wild. I don't know if I'll like it, but, you know, I trust Caryl's judgment, so I'm hoping it'll be good. Basically, the idea is there was this guy in, like, the 18th century. He was a Welsh guy. He went to America looking for, like, this fabled, like, Native American group of people who was Welsh language speaking. I don't think he found those people. I don't know. But Gruff Rhys did like an homage to him, like a sort of tribute trip to him, where he also went to America sort of like in his footsteps, in sort of a similar vein, like not looking for Welsh language speakers that are Native Americans, I guess, but with sort of a similar idea. Gruff Rhys, if you don't know him, I don't know why you don't know him. He's so famous. Gruff Rhys is a musician. He was in Super Furry Animals, the band. But I think he also did collaboration type things with Gorillaz. Do you remember this band? Also, I think Danger Mouse. Anyway, his like trip is also like a series of concerts. Like he plays in these places like North Dakota and Louisiana and stuff. Sort of, I don't know, as a tribute to this guy. I don't know. Okay, next one is Ukulele Jam by Alen Meskovic. How do you say that? I don't know. The author's not Welsh. The setting isn't Welsh. Nothing about this book is really Welsh, except for the publisher, Saran Books. So this was published in Wales, but the story has nothing to do with Wales. I'm still counting it. It's about a Bosnian teen refugee living in a Croatian refugee camp in the 90s. So I think this one is actually quite lighthearted. A bit. Like, I mean, as lighthearted as you can be in a refugee story situation. But I think it's like him and his friends like desperately trying to lead normal teen lives in these extraordinary circumstances. Do you know what I mean? So it's obviously going to have the same sort of like tragic themes of like war and being a refugee or whatever. But I think also, you know, they chase girls and they steal cigarettes and, you know, they're friends and have strong friendships and what have you. Anyway, next one is Revenant by Tristan Hughes. I don't really know anything about this book really either. Like, I read the flap, obviously, but even that didn't really tell me anything. It sort of says it's about a bunch of sort of Welsh teens or Welsh like friends, and then something happens and then it comes back 10 years later, like they meet up again. I think like the main point of this one is sort of the beauty of it. It's just a really beautiful story about sort of friendship and like memories and coming back together and what have you. I think one of the people dies, so then when they come back 10 years later, like his absence is deeply felt. I don't know. I've heard it was good. I have my doubts, but I won't knock it out my mind, you know? Okay, next one is The Murenger and Other Stories by John Gower. The Murenger is a pub, and I love John Gower. Like, how he writes dialogue is brilliant. It's so funny. Like, the characters are always, like, banging. So this one, I think, generally, is just a bunch of stories about various eccentric people in a pub in various sort of pub situations. Has unleashed a motley crew of rambunctious characters who experience a variety of unfortunate situations. Melting pot of wild imagination and inventive language, conjured up with a drop of magic realism, a hint of the surreal, and a soupçon of fable. The next one is literally brand new, brand spanking new. Still smells like the bookstore. It is The Library Suicides by Fflur Dafydd. I think Fflur Dafydd generally writes her books in Welsh and then they're translated into English, but I think this one was actually written directly into English, right? So this one is about twins whose mother kills herself. Like, she's sort of pushed to kill herself by this guy. And the twins want revenge on the guy, but the guy wants to just clear his name. So he goes to this library looking for like her diaries, like the mother's diaries or something, so he can clear his name. And the twins see that as an opportunity to sort of trap him, to sort of get revenge. So they like lock down this like labyrinthine library, and sort of set their plan in motion, but it traps other people inside as well. And then there's like this rogue security guard that tries to save everyone, like Nakamura Tower style. I really hope it's gonna be really good because I really have high hopes for it. Like, I could see myself getting too excited about this one and then it just being like a normal book and then me being like really let down. So I gotta like be cool, Heather, just be cool as fuck. Okay, the last three that I have, I'll do all at once because they're part of a series. It is this sort of Mabinogi series that I'm always on about. I always sort of dip into one of these books when it's like Dewithon or some sort of like novella month or Short of September, whatever. I always dip into one of these. They're books written by different Welsh authors and they're retellings of stories in the Mabinogion, which is like the Welsh like folklore epic book. Some of the stories in the Mabinogion are like King Arthur stories, but other ones are, you know, completely wild, like A Woman Made of Flowers or whatever. And books in this series, they're sort of hit and miss, really. Like, some of them are banging, like they're brilliant, like the symbolism and like the parallels between that story and like the original sort of ancient story are just brilliant. But other times they're a bit boring or a bit sort of convoluted and too complicated and you can't like follow them. So these ones, like this one's actually written by Fflur Dafydd, which is the same person here, so hopefully that'll be good. Also, the actual last one on my list is a library book that I put on hold that I don't have yet. I still have to pick it up. I'm going to be able to do that before March so it can go on my list. I heard about this one from Sean the Book Maniac, and it's called Queer Square Mile, and it's like a collection of stories sort of exploring, you know, a long queer history of Wales or whatever is like the sort of tag on the front. And it's just loads of different kinds of stories, like ghost stories, sci-fi stories, industrial stories, like love stories, and it's all sort of like got a queer focus. So it's also quite thick. It's like a chunker, so that one might be one where I sort of dip in and out, like just read individual stories, or it might be one where I sort of like put it there and I think, oh, I'm going to read that, and then I go to pick up another book and I pick that one up and I go, wow, that's heavy, and then I put it down, and then I get something else, and I come back and I do it again. Like I do it like 6 or 7 times in the month. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, that's it. I promise. I'm gonna put all the links below. Everyone that I've mentioned, like Paula Bardell-Headley, like the original sort of vlogger for Dewithon, and all the channels that I know of that I think are doing something for Dewithon, and also a couple of links to videos that list Dewithon TBRs of the past, like mine and also other people, so you can get like a full list of potential books that you could read for Dewithon. If you have any questions at all, like you're thinking about doing it but you don't know where to start or whatever, please just let me know in the comments or whatever. If you have any thoughts, you know, like you're gonna do Dewithon or not do Dewithon, or some of these books look really good or really shite, that's also super good information for me to have. Just let me know, and I will see you next time.